Shalom Aleichem. Mishnah Yomi is continuing chapter 3 of Sukkah. Chapter 3 is Lulav Hagazel, very famous chapter. So the first Mishnah was about the Lulav, second Mishnah was about the Hadas, and now we're on Mishnah Gimel. Arova, the willow, Gizula, if it's stolen, Vivesha, or dried out, Pesula. As we mentioned yesterday, Kachtem Lechem, it needs to belong to you and not stolen and not a mitzvah Babe Avera. And if it's dried out, it's not Hadar. Shel Asherah, if it was used for idolatry, Vishel Ir Nidachat, or from a city which, because the inhabitants were involved in idolatry, all of the possessions of that city were going to be burned, Pesula, no good. Niktam Rosho, if the tip is snipped off or broken off, Nifritzu Alea, or the leaves torn off, and again, even if they tied them back on, but most of them have been torn off, the Tzaftzafah is a specific type of arava, but it has, according to the Gemara, round leaves instead of oval or pointy leaves. Psula. These are not good. That's not the right species, the Tzaftzafah. Kimusha, if it's withered, V'shenoshru miktzos aleha, but it still has some of the leaves fell out, meaning you still have the majority of the leaves. V'shel bol, and one from a watered field. This is a rain-watered field. Kishera. These are still kosher. Now, the issue here is you thought because it's Arvei Nachal, it's called in the Torah Arvei Nachal, the willow of the brook, the willow of a Nachal is like a stream. You would think you'd have to get it from a stream. No, you could also get it from the field, and you might think it has to be completely moist and fresh. No, it can be a little bit dried out, as long as it's not really dried out. It can have lost some leaves, as long as it hasn't lost all of the leaves. So the fact that it's called an Arvei Nachal, that's to identify the species, not necessarily the place where you found it or the amount of water in the plant itself. Great. On to Mishnah Dalet. Rabbi Yishmael Omer Shlosha Hadasim Shtei Aravot Lulav Echad Ve'etrog Echad. He says you need to have 3 myrtle, 2 willows, 1 lulav, 1 etrog. And then he says, Afilu shnaim ktumim ve'echad eno katum. And it still works even if for your hadasim, 2 of them had the tips cut off and 1 of them is shalom, is whole. Rabbi Tarfon says, Afilu shloshim ktumim. Even if all of the hadas tips are clipped, the hadasim are still good. So it sounds like Rabbi Yishmael might have retracted. He might have thought originally you need 3 hadasim, and then he said, well, you really only need 1, and 3 is just nice to have. So if you only need 1, then you just need the tip to be shalom on 1. The other 2 could be really broken ones. And Rabbi Tarfon is saying, even if the tips are missing on all of them, your hadasim are still okay. And the logic being is the leaves there are close together, and the leaves kind of cover up the stem. And so the top leaves are going to cover up the top of the stem anyway. So then it's not really a lack of hiddur. It's still hadar, because you have the leaves covering up the broken part. There are some minhagim where they add quite a lot of hadasim, and they put hadasim all the way around, and it's more than 3, and it's Baruch Hashem, a lot of hadasim. It's really cool when you see one of those lulavim in practice. Rabbi Akiva here disagrees with Rabbi Yishmael. He says, Kishem lulav echad, just like we have 1 lulav, etrog echad, and 1 etrog, kachadas echad varava achat. So too we have 1 hadas and 1 arava. And we see in practice, we hold like Rabbi Yishmael. The partner here says we can even hold like Rabbi Tarfon, that it's not an impairment of hiddur if the hadasim have a broken tip, as long as the leaves are covering it up. Yashar kochachem zay gezut.